throw down, do their thing. So I think the men's race is pretty, I guess I would say, is pretty solidified. Like, someone's probably going to jump in there and make a splash, but like there's some big names competing for the top spot, and that it's going to be a great race. The women's side, I think, is a little more open. Like there's not as many, games athletes as I've seen in the years past. There's definitely some big names. I would say, I guess the people I'm most excited to watch, Danielle Brandon, if she can have a great rebound after the games, I think that would be big for just kind of confidence going into the season, things like that. And personally, just Olivia Kerstetter, seeing her continue to develop. Again, she just turned like 18 years old and she's already phenomenally, kind of successful in the sport. So I think seeing what she can do and seeing how she continues to progress is going to be really exciting. But yeah, I think the women's race is definitely much more wide open. You've got a couple big names who you assume will do pretty well, but there's a lot of, semifinal level athletes who are probably going to, slide into spaces and might make it interesting. So, but yeah, I think the men's race is, I think we all kind of know what to expect with the names you've got in that field.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot, Tim, and remember who your panelists are right now. If Jeff Adler was there, would he win?
Oh shit.
Honestly, at Wadapalooza, I find it hard to bet against Pat.
Yeah.
The dude just he brings his sunscreen and just does it. Like I don't know what it is about Pat and Wadapalooza. Like maybe it's because he hates the sun, so he wants to work out really quickly and get out of the sun. Like that might be like his, kind of like his reason for Wadapalooza excellence. But yeah, I'm not going to say who would win, but I would say that, Pat, again, he's got a great history at Wadapalooza. Yeah. He's had a great run down there. So I'd be hard pressed to bet against what history tells me.
Oh, I love it. 3 points for you, Tim. Nikki, who are your battles for the men and women, and who are your winners?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to jump, so I'm going to make this really fast, but I am going to fully agree with Tim. I think that Pat is going to charge up the podium at Wadapalooza, which is saying a lot, right? Because we've got Ricky, we've got Roman, we've got people on the competition floor that will give him a run for his money. But in my personal opinion, Pat is like powering up for double dad strength. And so Tim knows that kind of makes you unstoppable. You can't bet against that. And Tim, at this point, I feel like maybe that's your call to get back out onto the competition floor. You've got the double dad strength. And I don't know, man. All I'm saying.
Are you trying to get me divorced?
But that's kind of where I'm at. I would really like to see. He's just had a banner season so far. Even he looked amazing at Rogue. We know that things are going well in his life, so I wouldn't bet against him. I really wouldn't. Thank you, guys.
And women, real quick, Nikki.
Women, real quick. Agree with Tim. It's an open field. I don't like to bet against Danny Spiegel in Miami because I think in the past she's really pulled out a lot of stops, and we've seen the programming lend itself more to gymnastics and strength and weird things. She's also had a couple funky seasons, and so I feel like she's due for a comeback. That's kind of I'm just interested to see what happens there. We'll drop that. See what happens.
Okay, Nikki, we will see you in Miami. 2 points, and take care. And Carolyn, last but not least, sorry that everybody keeps leaving us on the show today. It's not you, it's me.
They're intimidated. They're all leaving. I'm just kidding.
I know. They're scared. They know you're going to win.
So I think Pat is a safe bet, but that's not the one I'm going with.
Ooh, I love it.
So I think another Canadian is going to be topping the podium, and I think it's going to be Brent. So I looked at all the events and I spoke to Jeff. I was like, I need some insider trading information here. I was like, all right, this is like, we made a list and everything. But looking at each of the event, like we know who the top four, Pat, Brent, Roman, and Ricky. That's who people are going to be watching. And then dark horses, I think the other three Canadians, Sam, Alex, Caron, and Vigneault, they can kind of throw a monkey wrench, and those are going to be like people kind of battling, and this is who you're losing points against. But if you look at those top four and those other three of who's going to be stealing points, I feel like Brent can come ahead with this programming. So that's what I'm going. I think it's going to be very exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of good Canadian showing and like a lot of good Canadian battles. So I'm definitely excited on the men's side. But again, you can't discount Pat. Roman's always on the charge. Ricky's always good. Like, I don't think anything is like bad for any of them. It's just like you can have one slip up, you can have like one bad judging call, like something can happen, like you never know. So I think it should be a good weekend for all of them and like very interesting to watch. But I'm voting for Brent on the men's side.
Get the maple syrup shots ready.
Yep.
And what about the women's field?
So in the women's field, I follow very little of that. So I have to like go look at who's going, what's happening. I kind of do the same thing. I think there's people that are just like more consistent, like should do well. Gabby, Emma Carey, Ariel Lowen is like, where is she going to be, right?